What's up, everybody? Trump's first live rally since the assassination attempt. Let's hear what the GOAT has to say.
Well, thank you very much. This is like a Michigan football game over here. This is pretty good. This is pretty good. I want to thank you, JD, for the introduction. You're going to be a fantastic vice president of the United States. And, you know, I chose him because he's for the worker. He's for the people that work so hard and perhaps weren't treated like they should have been, but they were treated that way 4 years ago, I can tell you that. But we're going to get it back bigger, better, stronger than ever before. Thank you very much. This is something. I'm thrilled to be back in the great state of Michigan with thousands and thousands, and I mean lots of thousands up here. This is a hell of an arena. This is a hell of an arena. But you are the hardworking patriots that we love. You know, they have crowds of people outside. You're not even going to believe it. They go blocks and blocks.
Blocks and
But
blocks.
let's forget about them, right? Let's forget about them. Let me begin this evening with a very special thanks to Americans nationwide, including all of you here today, for your extraordinary outpouring of love.
Oh, thanks for joining us,
support
Alicia.
In the wake of the horrific last Saturday event. And when you think of it, it was exactly 1 week ago today, almost to the hour, even to the minute. Yeah. Incredible. What a day it was. As I said earlier this week, I stand before you only by the grace of Almighty God. That's true. I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here.
God thought otherwise.
Maybe JD or somebody else would be here, but I shouldn't be here right now. But something very special happened. Let's face it, something happened. I want to thank Butler Memorial Hospital in Pennsylvania for the incredible job they did and service they gave, and all of the great citizens of Butler, Pennsylvania, and the surrounding area, and everyone else for the job they did. And the love that they showed us all. It was incredible, actually. What a time that was. What a time that was. Nobody's seen anything like it. And hopefully they never will again. And they had cameras blazing. I guess it was different in that way, too, because we were right in the middle of all those. You look at all the news back there, and they were all blazing. They were going. No, they covered it fairly. They couldn't believe what they were.
No, they didn't.
So, they did. You did cover it fairly.
Wow, he's nicer
Let me
now.
also thank Congressman Ronnie Jackson from Texas. You know Congressman Ronnie Jackson for the care and treatment he gave me as an outstanding doctor, which he is. He's really an amazing guy. Where's Ronnie? Dr. Ronnie's here someplace. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you very much. Great doctor. He was a great admiral, a great doctor. He's a White House doctor for Bush, Obama, and a guy named Trump. And they said, who is the healthiest of the three? He said, not even a question, Trump. And I said, I love that guy. I love that guy. When he said that, that was my doctor. Even if he's a congressman, that was my doctor. But he's been a great congressman. Thank you very much, Ronnie, for everything. We appreciate it. Ronnie Jackson. We continue to pray for the recovery of the two citizens who were wounded in that evil attack, David Dutch and James Copenhaver, two really incredible people. We remain in contact and send our deepest respect to the families. Corey, as you know, Corey. Comparator was a brave firefighter who died funeral yesterday, shielding his wife and daughters from bullets. He shielded them from the bullets of this horrendous person. Corey was a hero, and we will carry his memory in our hearts for all time. Great hero. That's great.
In the chat, are you guys happy that he's out giving speeches again?
Trumper.
I'm a little
never forget him, right? We're all
on the
together.
fence about
We're
that.
all together. There's never been anything like what you witnessed the other day with the convention. I don't think there's ever been a convention where there was such unity and love, and even I'll say just for a second, the fake news even said it that way. I want to be nice, but the fake news reported it correctly. There's never been such unity, and everybody did a great job, and the speeches and everything. It was just an incredible event.
Yeah, I personally think he should be in a bunker until the election.
Fantastic place. This was a beautiful arena. They did a
Do not think the deep state's done.
And Wisconsin is going to vote for us because we spent $250 million. And when they go into the voting booth, they're going to say, we love this guy Trump. He gave us $250 million with jobs, and they're going to vote. Wisconsin's a very important state, as we know. But they really did. Wisconsin did a great job. Milwaukee, they did a great job, and the arena was fantastic. And it was just love. It was like a big, beautiful 4-day love fest.
Yeah, I've come a long way on JD Vance.
There was no
Like I keep
fight.
saying, nationalism over globalism,
No
most important fight to be
screams,
worried
no
about.
shouting, no, get that guy off the platform. And in case there was, we had the Hulkster with us.
Yeah, I think Cheadle's gonna get the
How good was he?
Clinton
How good
treatment
was the
pretty soon.
Hulkster?
You know what I mean?
Kid Rock called. He said, "I want to get." You know, Kid Rock is big, and he wanted to get down, and he did an unbelievable job. He was great.
Okay, fair enough.
But all of them, everybody. We
I'll
had
let
so
him
many
speak.
great people there. It was really an amazing thing to see. It was really something I don't think there's ever been. A lot of people report. I think there's either party. There's never been anything like it. And now we have something coming up where they're going to go for the convention, and they have a couple of problems. Number one, they have no idea who their candidate is, and neither do we. That's a problem. But we'll see. Hopefully, they get it worked out. Sort of interesting. This guy goes and he gets the votes, and now they want to take it away. That's democracy. They talk about democracy. Let's take it away from them. But now we go forward as one movement, and really we have a very special group of people, like the people here. You people built this country. It's one movement, and we're more united, determined than ever before. We've never been so determined. Bad things happened last time. We're not going to let them happen this time. Bad things happen. We will never stop working to deliver a magnificent future for our people, and together we will fight, right? And we will win. All right. Thank you. I like this place. You ever walk in to a place and you say, I sort of like this place. Less than 4 months from now, we are going to win Michigan. We are going to take back the White House in a monumental landslide. And with your help, we are going to make America great again. Right? At our convention on just a little while ago in Milwaukee on Thursday, it was my tremendous honor to officially accept the Republican nomination for President of the United States. And I used to say it in 2016, and I meant it 100%, but I mean it even more now because this country has gone wrong. We're a failing nation. We're really a left at failing nation right now. This will be the most important election in the history of our country. This is going to be the most important election. We cannot let it slip by. We cannot let people cheat. We cannot let this slip by, or we're not going to have a country. Because I do have other things I could be doing. It would be a lot easier. Although I'd rather be with you than sitting on some gorgeous beach watching boring waves coming coming in. No, I would rather be. Actually, I would. You know that. I think that's one of the reasons we've been so successful together. You know, I mean that too. But we're going to make our country more successful than ever before. Yet, even as we gather this evening, we will, and take a look, still the Democratic nominee, we're going to find out shortly, maybe. I don't know. Let's do this. Let's do a poll. You know, I love doing polls, right? Like I do a poll. I do lots of polls. Like, do you like Make America Great Again, or do you like America First, or do you like them both? I like them both, right? But let's do a poll on candidates. Ready? So I'll go. We're going to do a poll on a few candidates. The press will like this because they won't have to pay for the poll. You know, you do these crazy polls and they charge you $250. Look, there's Mr. Wall. This guy is the greatest guy. This guy. He must have a lot of money because he's at so many different rallies. And he was at the one that was a tough one, wasn't he? That was something. You were right up in the front. You saw that. That was something. We're going to do a poll, and it's going to be a very nice poll. And right? Who's your favorite candidate? Who would you like? Let's do it. Who would you most like to run against? Because, you know, you could say, who's the best candidate? We're saying, who would you like to? We'll start with Kamala Harris, and then we'll go to crooked Joe Biden, and then we could possibly discuss a few. So who would you like to most run against if you're us, if we want to win? Ready? Kamala Harris, crooked Joe Biden. All right. I don't think we have to go too much further. Well, you have a terrible governor here who did a terrible job. Whitman. I'd like to run against her, actually. I'd like to run against her. So she's one of the 20 that I mentioned. She's the one that gave her husband full right, title, and interest to everything, but nobody else could do anything but her husband. Her husband was sailing in the middle of your lake, your beautiful lake. He's out there sailing, and everybody else had to be locked up, right? Her husband. No, but things like that are mentioned during a campaign, little things like that. No, she's done a terrible job, but I hope I'd be very happy with her. At this very moment, Democrat Party bosses are frantically trying to overthrow the results of their own party's primaries to dump crooked Joe Biden from the ballot. Couldn't happen to a nicer guy. And as you're seeing, the Democrat Party is not the party of democracy. They're really the enemies of democracy. The parties of corrupt insiders like Whitmer, special interests, and the failed political class. That's what they are. Under our leadership, the Republican Party is now the party of the people. We're the party of hardworking Americans of every race, religion, color, and creed. We've become a very big party. We've become, right, fellas? You know what I'm talking about. I love you guys. We love you guys. No, we've become a very big party. We have increased in size. Nobody's ever, honestly, in history, there's never been anything like this movement. And that may be in the history of the world, but let's keep it down to the country for right now, because that's the thing. But there's never been anything like MAGA. When Biden says, we have to stop MAGA, we will stop MAGA. He said, he doesn't know what MAGA stands for. It stands for Make America Great Again. How can you be against that? How can you be against that?
Can't.
And you know, the other side's going around trying to make me sound extreme. Like I'm an extremist. I'm not. I'm a person with great common sense. I'm not an extremist at all. Like some on the right, severe right, came up with this Project 25, and I don't even know. I mean, some of them I know who they are, but they're very, very conservative, just like you have. They're sort of the opposite of the radical left. Okay? You have the radical left, and you have the radical right, and they come up with this. I don't know what the hell it is. It's Project 25. he's involved in project, and then they read some of the things, and they are extreme. I mean, they're seriously extreme. But I don't know anything about it. I don't want to know anything about it. But what they do is misinformation and disinformation, and they keep saying, he's a threat to democracy. I'm saying, what the hell did I do for democracy? Last week, I took a bullet for democracy. What did I do against democracy? Crazy. Hello, Chris. Here's our great campaign man. Chris, are you having a good time? Look at him. He's back there, cool as a cucumber. You know, so far they're giving us great credit for the best run campaign they've seen in years. Isn't that right? Thank you, Susie. Thank you, Chris. Look how cool he is. Thanks, Sid. Try doing it with another candidate sometime. That gets tough, right? Anyway, thank you very much. Great job, Chris, Susie, the whole group. We have a great group of people. They love this country. They want to save the country. That's what we're doing. With your vote in this election, the Trump-Vance administration, by the way, I made the right pick. They were all good. They were all good, but he's really stepped up. But the Trump-Vance administration will begin rapidly reversing every single Biden-Harris disaster, starting on day one. And when you vote for Biden, you're probably voting indirectly by Harris. Common sense, it's all common sense, right? We will end the inflation nightmare that you would have never had. We had no inflation. See, there's another thing. Biden always goes, I inherited 9% inflation. And even the radical left reporters up there, look at all of them. Oh, they have a lot of them. They have a lot of them. Look at those cameras. But they'll start turning you off as soon as they start mentioning something. I'll say, the red light just went off. No, but actually the radical left reporters, of which there are quite a few, I can't believe it, I don't know why they have them, but the radical left reporters say the guys were, it wasn't until 2 years in that we became destroyed with inflation. Inflation is a country buster. It's a class buster. It busts everything. Low income, middle income especially, and they get busted. They're busted. The country gets busted. Look at Germany from centuries ago. Look at every country that's had inflation. And we had, I believe, the greatest inflation in the history of our country. They don't even report it properly because they leave the worst numbers out. They don't talk about interest rates that went to 10, 11, 12%, and you can't get the money. So what does that mean, 12%, if you can't get the money? It means it's higher from 2%. We will seal the border, and we will stop this terrible invasion that's destroying our country. We will crush migrant crime. We're going to crush migrant crime. Oh, we have a new form of crime now. It's called migrant crime. The only good thing about these migrants coming in is they make our gang members and criminals look like the nicest people you've ever met. These people are much tougher. They come from all over the world, not just from South America. We're going to return law and order to our streets and restore patriotism to our schools. We gave you already the largest tax cut in the history of our country, larger than the Reagan cuts, but now we will give you an additional tax cut, a number of tax cuts that will make it. We took in more money after the tax cuts than we did prior. We took in billions and billions of dollars more after the tax cuts than we did. We have the greatest economy in the history of our country. Everyone knows. We're going to slash regulations. That's what created all of those jobs. And gave them bounce-back jobs. You know, they're called bounce-back jobs. After COVID, they bounce back. Everybody knows that. When you have something like COVID, which rarely happens, but when you have something like that, they're called bounce-back jobs. And we're going to bring down energy prices very rapidly. It was energy that caused the problem and their stupidity. And we're going to bring it down very quickly. Your energy bills will be cut in half, at least. Some sections, like in New England, I'll be able to cut their energy by 60, 70%. It's absolutely crazy what has happened with energy. We buy the oil from Venezuela. They used to be our enemy. I don't know. We buy from Venezuela. It's not really oil, it's tar. And you know, there's only one refinery in the world that can do it. It's very heavy, horrible stuff. It's garbage. It's tar. You lift it. I said, that's not oil. We want light, sweet. We have the best oil. We have the best everything. We go to Venezuela. You know where they refine it? In Houston, Texas. It's the only plant in the world that can refine that stuff. So we go to Venezuela. We pay them a fortune. We take that dictatorship. We make the dictatorship wealthy. These people don't know what the hell they're doing. They're incompetent. They're grossly incompetent. The biggest threat is because we have incompetent. That's the threat to democracy. It's the threat to our country. We have incompetent people leading our country, grossly incompetent people. America's enemies will fear us. The United States will again command the respect that it deserves. Viktor Orban, the very powerful leader of Hungary, said, when asked what happened with the world that's falling to pieces, there were wars all over, he said, bring back Trump, it'll all end, it'll all end. We had no problem in the war. And something beautiful is going to happen because we will bring back the American dream, and it'll be bigger, better, and bolder than ever before. Right? And most importantly, for the people of this great state, you know, years ago, they gave me in Michigan the Man of the Year. That was long before I was a politician. I was a business guy. I did well. I liked the state, but I don't know. I heard Man of the Year, Michigan. I said, that's cool. That's good. I'm going to make that trip. I didn't know why they were giving it to me. Nothing, but they were giving it to me for, I guess, the fact that I employed a lot of people. I did real well. This is probably 14 years ago. And I came in and I said, why do you allow foreign countries like Mexico? You know, Mexico's, like, we think of them as friendly, but they haven't been too friendly lately. How about where they asked Biden to meet, just to meet? They want $2 billion to meet. They wouldn't ask that. See, they wouldn't even ask me that because I'd say, I will put 100% tariffs on everything you send into a country if you even think about it. They want $2 billion to meet. In other words, we won't meet with you unless you pay us $2 billion. And this is every single year. They want $2 billion. No, what's the opposite of that? The exact opposite. But you know, when you see the things that are happening to our country, and all you have to do is know how to speak. When I watched the way our border was handled, we had the best border, the safest border, the border that saved my life. You know, I was pointing to an immigration border sign when I made this turn. And they went that way instead of that way. So I owe immigration my life. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. Now think about it. I'm talking thousands and thousands, much more than even this. I mean, we're restricted because you're in this giant arena. That's the one thing about outdoor that's good. You can have unlimited. Thousands and thousands, as far as the eye can see. Nobody's over here or over here because there's nobody there. It starts like this. As far as the eye can see, and said, look at the great results that we had on immigration. Just look at them. If I didn't say that, and it's because we had like a crane holding this massive sign, I call it the $1 million sign, it's very expensive. But that sign is very good. I think I'm going to sleep with it tonight. I'm going to sleep with it tonight. I said, what was that? What was that? Ooh. Then I looked, I said, that's not good. That's not good. So it's immigration, if you think about it, right? Immigration, I would have never been looking to the right, and I had to be. It was the only place that would have saved us. They do these reports in the New York Times and all over the place where they had, you know, the shape, you know, if you turn this way, this way, this way. Every shot was no good for me except for the one direct. It came whizzing by, and I hope we have to never go through that again. Everybody, because it's so horrible. But most importantly, for the people of your state, this great state, I will rescue the U.S. auto industry from obliteration. They're going to obliterate your auto industry. And anybody that votes for the head of the United Auto Workers, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. He's approved all electric cars. And you know, Elon, I love Elon Musk. Do we love him? I love him.
Here we go.
And I'm constantly talking about electric cars, but I don't mean I'm totally for them. But whatever the market says, and if it's 10% of the market, 12%, 7%, 20%, whatever it is, it's okay. But you can't have 100% electric cars. And you know, so Elon endorsed me recently, the other day. He's great. Elon Musk. He's a brilliant guy. Every time I call him, he's talking about it. I got a new idea for a rocket. You have to hear this. No, it's true. You know, the first time I ever saw this, I'm watching television like 3 years ago. I see a rocket motor engine, come down landing, straight up, no wings, no nothing, and it's landing. I thought I was seeing things. What is that? And it's landing on a barge in the middle of the ocean. And then another one comes down, and another one, and another. I guess 4 of them came down, 3 or 4, and they land upright. I said, what the hell was that? I've never seen that before. Now, if that were government, you wouldn't see that for another 50 to 100 years. But it was Elon. Now, think of that. And I called him, and I've always had a good relationship with him. And I called him, and I said, what was that? He said, well, we saved the engines. We saved the engines because it's very expensive to build. So, I mean, it didn't take me long to figure that if you saved them, that's good. But who the hell thought you could do that? No wings, no nothing, just like these big, long, massive tubes, and they're landing gently right on the dock. I said, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. And you say, how long would it take government to come up with that one? I don't think they ever heard of it. Perhaps they still haven't heard of it. But, you know, he's a very advanced person, and he's doing other things that are great, and so are others. We have to make life good for our smart people. You know, we have some smart people. We have to make life good for our smart people. And he's as smart as you get. But Elon endorsed me the other day, and I didn't even know this. He didn't even tell me about it. But he gives me $45 million a month. A month. Not 45 million. Gives me 45 million a month. And I talked to him just a little while ago to say I was coming here, how you doing? And he didn't even mention it. He didn't mention. I mean, other guys, they give you $2 and you got to take them to lunch. You got to walk them. No, he's a great guy, he really is. But, you know, he's never mentioned to me, why are you hitting the electric cars? Because he understands I'm not hitting it. I think it's incredible. I've had them, I've driven them, they're incredible. But they're not for everybody. Some people have to drive long distances. And they tend to be more expensive. And, you know, they'll probably be made in China because China has all of that material. Oh, there's the guy that I stood up here. Are you the same guy, the same muscles? Look at that guy. Are you the same guy? Yes? No kidding. It's pretty good memory, right? Unlike somebody else that happened to be running. You wouldn't. Come on up here. Get up here. I got to get this guy. This guy was central casting. Look at him. Look. Oh, I think he was standing on a box. That was the only thing I said. You got to come on up here. Don't hurt yourself. Can you get him up? I like this guy. He's a serious union guy, a United Auto Workers. Look at him get over there. It's okay. He does not carry guns. He's not. Come on up here. Look at him. Look at his shape. He's in.
I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to see you. I'm glad to see this guy. I told you we're going to get 85 million of us out there to vote for him. So let's go home from this rally and do our part.
I remember that guy.
Look at the arms on him. I may have height, but his arms are definitely more powerful. Look at that guy. No, last time I was here, I saw him and he was so great, and he was agreeing with us. Oh, we want to bring car manufacturing back, and what the deal with this thing with the all electric cars by in 6 years from now? It's ridiculous. You know, in the Midwest, they open up chargers. They opened up 8 chargers. You read about this. $9 billion they spent for 8 chargers. That's like a gas pump. I guess it would be like the equivalent of a gas pump for electric, right? They spent $9 billion in 8 chargers. This is 8 little chargers. $9 billion. How do you do that? It would cost at that rate $5 trillion to create enough charges so it could run. It doesn't work. And it doesn't work the trucks either. I was with Swift, big Swift company. How many trucks are you on? 29,000. That's a lot of trucks. One of the biggest, I guess like the biggest. I think he's the biggest, right? And he said, they want to destroy our business. They want us to go all electric. I said, so what's wrong with electric? I said, if you take a big, beautiful, like Peterbilt or one of the great manufacturers, how many times would you have to stop from New York to Los Angeles? None, sir. We go right there. We have some left over. That's with diesel. I said, what about if it's electric? We have 6 to 7 stops, about 3 hours each. So immediately he's saying, that's not working too. He said, but there are other problems. He said, the truck is so much heavier that you'd have to rebuild every bridge in the country. That doesn't sound too good, right? And then the third thing, he said that the battery is so much bigger than a tank, a big tank for the diesel, for the gasoline, but the diesel mostly. It's so much bigger that most of our payload would be holding batteries. In other words, we wouldn't have any room for the product. So let's say you hear those 3 minor details. Typically, you would end the conversation, would say that doesn't work. These people say, we don't care, we want you to go all electric. Can you believe these people? They're crazy. They're crazy. No, they're crazy. And they want boats to do the same thing. I was with in South Carolina, one of the biggest boat manufacturers of, smaller fishing boats from, let's say, 16 to 35 feet. And he said, we have a problem. They keep pushing, the beautiful outboard engines, Mercury and Evinrude. I guess they used to have, I don't know if they have it anymore, but those big, beautiful outboard engines there, they work great. Or just interior engines run by a thing called gasoline. So he said they want us to figure out how to go all electric in a boat, all electric. I said, well, what is the problem? He said, we'd have to take the entire lower cabin where we have bedrooms, and we'd have to make that into a battery. But the bigger problem is, sir, it won't float because it's ceramic. It won't float. It won't float. And I always tell the story with like, well, what would you do? Because my uncle was a great professor at MIT for 41 years. I think he's the longest serving Dr. John Trump, He was
Tesla guy.
We have a very smart family, actually. But he was a great guy, and I always thought I was very interested in this, but the press kills me all the time. They say, he keeps talking about sharks. I tell an analogy. If I'm in a boat, it's all electric, and it starts to sink. I asked the guy, do you get electrocuted sitting over this? And then I say, and I don't think there's anything wrong with this, do you? Because it's an analogy. I say, and if there's a shark about 10 yards away, right where they are, right where all the congressmen are, right over there, well, they're sharks. They're sharks. If there's a shark about 10 yards away, do I get electrocuted or do I go with the shark? I said, because I will take electrocution all day long. Despite the environmentalists that say how wonderful sharks are. You ever hear these people? We had 3 killings by a shark this weekend, ripped people apart, and then you have the environmentalists going, well, they didn't mean to do it. They mistook them for a seal. They didn't want to hurt the child. No, I don't want that. Common sense, right? I mean, how about they catch a shark, vicious that they've been after, and they take him to a little deeper water and they put him back in? I wouldn't do that. Would anybody do that here? Let me ask you, this is Michigan. These guys wouldn't do it. But they always get on me. They say, why is he talking about electricity and sharks? What are they? Well, they know exactly. It's sort of a cute little story. Do I take electrocution or do I take death by a shark? And I'll always take electrocution. But isn't it ridiculous? Think of it. Isn't it ridiculous? They want to make a boat that's far too heavy, that can barely float, and they're driving people out of business. They're destroying this country. They're stupidly destroying this country. The army tanks are the other one. They want to make all electric. We make the best tanks in the world. They want to have them. So that as we go into a country to bomb the hell out of it, we will do it in an environmentally friendly way. And you know, with an army tank, again, the battery is very big, very heavy, and doesn't last long. You know what it is? It's an army tank, and it's like you're pulling a wagon behind the army tank. You're pulling a wagon like a child pulls a wagon, and it's loaded up with a battery. So we got to get back to common sense. The aircraft, too. They want to make our jet fighters a biofuel jet fighter that shows 18% less efficiency. That's the difference between winning and losing a fight. And you know what happens? I said, I'm not doing it, and we ended all of that stuff. They brought it back. We will end it on day one. We're not going to be doing that stuff. In 4 short years under my leadership, I did more for Michigan auto workers and manufacturers than any president in the history of our country. And just as I promised, I withdrew from the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which would have totally destroyed the auto industry. I ended the disaster known as NAFTA. That was the worst trade deal ever made. That was the worst trade deal considered by him. That was so unfair to us with Mexico and Canada. The worst trade deal ever made, and replace it with what they call the best trade deal ever made, the USMCA, Mexico and Canada. And I know it's good because Mexico and Canada are right now, as we speak, working like hell to try and renegotiate the deal. Don't do it, Biden. Well, he doesn't know what's going on. Don't do it. He's watching this now. He'll say, what's that trade deal they're talking about? Well, so they've been negotiating with us for about 2 years. I never heard of that negotiation. Where is Mexico anyway? See, now the fake news will take the statement I just say, where is Mexico? And they'll put it on television. Trump didn't know where Mexico is. They do. It's very dangerous. The biggest threat I have to my administration is sarcasm, because they play it against me. When I show that he can't walk off, he can never find the entrances off the stage. Like one here, one there, 2 here. You can jump off the front, I guess. And whenever I imitate him, I call my wife. She's great. Our wife, she's great. Our great first lady. So, and she looked great the other night. She made that entrance. She made a lot of entrances. She was something. But she walked in, but I told her the other night, I said, how good was I? How good? This was at a rally a couple of weeks ago. How good was I? You were really good. Not great. Why? Well, it showed that you didn't know how to get off the stage. Well, I was imitating Biden. So what they do is they show the imitation of Biden. They said Trump didn't know how to get off the stage. That's our fake news. So we have to be very careful. So I haven't done it in about 3 weeks. I'll do it again, but maybe not right now. Excuse. Darling, you were great. I mean, I get these crowds, 50, 60, 70,000. In New Jersey, we had leading New Jersey by 4 points, by the way. We're leading Michigan by 6 points. And a report just came out, actually we're leading everywhere and nationally, and that we have to keep it that way. Got to make sure they don't cheat. Got to make sure they don't cheat. I took on China like no administration in history, bringing hundreds of billions of dollars pouring into our treasury when no other president had gotten 10 cents. You know, China never gave us 10 cents. I got hundreds of billions of dollars from China. And I got along very well with President Xi. He's a great guy. He wrote me a beautiful note the other day when he heard about what happened. And he wrote me a beautiful, most of the leaders, a lot of them didn't like what I was doing to them, but they also knew it was about time. The jig was up, right? It was about time. But they wrote me, almost all of them wrote me notes. It was nice. No, I have a good relationship with all of them. That's a good thing. A lot of times the press would say, he gets along with Kim Jong-un. He's not a nuclear weapons. I got along with him great. You were never in danger with me as your president. It's a good thing to get along, not a bad thing. I used to tell him, why don't you do something else? All he wants to do is buy nuclear weapons and make them. I said, just relax, chill. You got so much nuclear weapons, so much. He said, just relax, go to let's go to a baseball game. I'll show you what a baseball is. We'll go watch the Yankees, or we'll come watch Michigan at its home opener. Okay, how about that? Are you going to have a good team this year, I think, right? I heard good. I heard good, but who the hell knows? Guy drops a pass, that's the end of that season. It's a risky business. I proudly imposed a 27.5 tariff on all Chinese auto imports to keep China and Chinese cars, keep them out of America. You don't sell a lot of Chinese cars in here because of what, and if you did, it'd be fewer cars that you made. We're going to bring back the auto industry because of, we're going to bring it back. We're going to have them. If they want to come in and sell us cars, they can, but they have to build plants here and they have to hire our workers, and that's fine. And nobody can say anything about it. Under the radical Democrat policies, the U.S. auto industry is being decimated. We lost 64% of our industry over the years. 64%. We were a giant. And now they made, a lot of them made in Mexico. Mexico's taken 35% of the auto industry. And we did something very strong. We did something very strong with Mexico. But when I was building the wall, I said, you have to give us 28,000 soldiers. And they laughed at me. I hate when people laugh at me. I hate it. No, it's so disrespectful. They laughed at me. We won't do that. Why would we do that? I said, because you have to. We're building the wall. People are flowing in through your country. We want 28,000 soldiers to protect us while we're building the wall. They said, no, no, no. And then they said, after I said, look, here's the story. If you don't do it, we're going to charge you a 25% tariff on every car that you send into America. And then it's going to 50% next month. Then it's going to 75%. And then it's going to 100%, and then outside. And the gentleman representing the president's a great guy. He's no longer president, but he's a great guy. He was a great guy, still is. But he said, I'd like to discuss this with the president. I said, 5 minutes, I got to go. I have something much more important to do. And he came back. He said, Mr. President, we would love to give you soldiers to protect your wall, free of charge, of course. That's how I got those great numbers on that beautiful, beautiful graph that we talked about. They gave us everything I wanted. I got everything from Mexico, and then this stupid person, low IQ, he's a low IQ individual. Take his IQ. I guarantee you it's in the low 50s or 60s. And he's negotiating against Putin, President Xi of China, Macron of France, very smart guy. I told him he was going to do something very bad to our country. I said, that's okay, you can do it, but I'm going to put a 100% tariff on all wines and champagnes coming in from France. He said, no, 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 Donald. I said, I'm doing it. Donald, you cannot do that. That's going to charge our companies, 25 American companies, 25% for doing nothing, for being in France. Big deal, right? Big deal. So I said, okay, that's all right. I'm charging you 100% tariff. I gave it to all my people. Minnect won't do it. They won't budge. I said, they'll budge. I called them up. And I talked to the president of France, Emmanuel Macron. He's a nice guy. I said, but he's, he likes France, like the USA. Does that make sense? I said, Emmanuel, it's so nice to talk to you. I understand you're going to charge our companies 25%, Emmanuel. Yes, Donald. It was approved by whoever the hell approves the parliament. Whatever the hell they have over there, they were going to approve it. It's been fully approved. Yes, I'm so sorry. I said, well, it's okay. You can have it approved, but here's the story. starting tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock, every bottle of wine and every bottle of champagne that's shipped into the United States is going to have a 100% tariff on it. No, you cannot do that. That is not fair. I said, not fair for you to charge our companies 25%. He said, you cannot do it. I said, I'm signing the papers now. I will call you right back. Calls me back. Donald, we would be delighted, Mr. President, to take that tax off. We have decided to take it off. It'll be off by tonight, sir. It'll be off by tonight. And it was off. And it was off. You think Joe Biden does that?
Mm-mm.
He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Their policies are not good. Remember, whether it's Biden or anybody else, they want open borders. They want all the same stuff.
Globalism.
You know, but he's in particular, he's pretty bad, I tell you. Can you imagine these killers? These are shot. You know, the press gets angry. They said, is President Xi of China, is he a smart man? I said, no, he's a brilliant man. He controls 1.4 billion people with an iron fist. He makes guys like Biden look like babies. They don't even know whether they're coming or going. Yes, the next day Hitler. Trump calls him brilliant. How dare? No, okay. Let's say he's not a smart man. Okay, whatever makes you happy. No matter what you do, I say he's a brilliant man. They went crazy because I called him brilliant. So I'm just going to have to say, okay. No, he's very smart. But and you know what else? He's a fierce person. You understand that? Some of the people here know that, what this means, especially some of the women, right? They know better than the men about fierce. I know the women, they know better than the men. They're more fierce than the men. Oh, her. But no, he's a fierce individual. He's a fierce man. Can you imagine when he meets this guy? He thinks Trump is playing a joke on him. He actually thinks there's some kind of that I'm playing a joke. He doesn't believe what happened. He doesn't believe the last election. He thinks I'm playing a joke on him. But can you imagine President Xi, Putin, all of them? They're all smart, tough. They love their country or they want to do well with their country, whatever it is, all ideology. But we have to have somebody that can protect us. And Orban was right. We have to have somebody that can protect us. Right now, we have really low IQ people in there. And the president in particular, he has about a 70 IQ, and he's going against 210, and it never works out. It never works out. When I'm back in the White House, the way they will sell their product in America is to build it in America. They have to build it in America, and they have to use you people to build it. Thank you very much. It's very simple. We will build American, buy American. We're going to hire American. We're going to get it going. We're going to get the auto industry back. It's ridiculous. I will revoke China's most favored nations trade. You know, they have a most favored nations trade status. They've had it for years. We had it revoked, and then we had that stupid election, that ridiculous election that everybody knows was ridiculous. But I will revoke it. They have a trade. They're saying we're just beginning. They're not just beginning. They're teaching our people too much. I will pass the Trump Reciprocal Trade Act, meaning if China charges us a 100 or 200% tariff or tax, we will charge them a 200% tax. Very simple. It's called reciprocal. They charge, we charge. It sort of says, I shouldn't say this, because, you know, Franklin Graham, I told the story the other night, Franklin Graham, he's such a wonderful guy. Billy Graham was his father, the greatest. My father used to take me to Yankee Stadium to watch Billy Graham. The place was packed. And he would get up and he would rant and rave, and you left there and you believed that it was God, in fact, that helped me last week. You would believe it if you listened to Billy Graham. And Franklin Graham is right, probably, but he wrote me a beautiful letter. He says, President Trump, I watch your speeches and your rallies all the time. I love your storytelling. There's nobody that can do it like you, but please, you're hurting yourself very badly. Don't use foul language. It made me feel bad, actually, because I don't use much. I don't use much. And if it is foul, it's not really foul. You know, there's really foul and there's foul, and then there's a little off. Like some people don't even, they don't like the word hell. That's a bad word. You know, I mean, that's not good. Or the word bullshit they don't like, so I won't use it. No, it's true. But it's more descriptive. There's just no word to sort of. But he said, so please, so I've been really good. And for the last 4 or 5 times, I've really been good. But, you know, you lose a little something. But reciprocal trade, it basically means you screw us and we'll screw you. It's very simple. And I can't describe it. And I don't think it's foul. But he's probably right. To further protect Michigan auto workers, I will end the Biden-Harris electric vehicle mandate on day one. It's going to end on day one. And I will immediately terminate the Green New scam, and we're going to use that money to build roads and highways and bridges. Under Biden and the radical left Democrats, inflation is wiping out our middle class. Groceries are up 57%. Gasoline is up 69%. Mortgage rates have quadrupled. They've gone up 3, 4, 5 times. And they never include that in their stats, you know. They never include those things. They never include mortgage rates. And you can't get the money anyway, so what really is the number? And since Democrats took over, total household costs have increased by an average of $28,000 per family. Think of that. Under my leadership, we will throw out Bidenomics and we will replace it very simply with Maganomics. Maganomics. You know, I have to just interject. If you would turn off those cameras, because I don't want this. See the screen up there of me? That's very severe, that comb over. That's a severe sucker. What's with that one? It looks okay from the other side. But that is very severe. I apologize. Man, I looked up there. I said, whoa. Look at that. Wow. That's like a work of art. Only look at that one. Don't look. That one looks. To bring down the prices of all goods, we will end the Biden-Harris war on American energy, and we will drill, baby, drill. We're going to start that day one. Under the Trump administration, we had energy independence, and soon we will have energy dominant. We will be more dominant than any country by far, and we were just 4 years ago. We started off at number 4, we got to number 3, and then we had to beat Russia. We beat them. Then we had to beat Saudi Arabia. We beat them, and we were like a rocket ship. And then we had this idiotic result. But we will be, and again, we have more. You know, Anwar in Alaska, it's probably the biggest find anywhere in the world, the size of Saudi Arabia. Some people say, who knows what it is, but it's massive. Ronald Reagan tried to get it, couldn't get it. And that was easier in those days environmentally. They stopped it with the environment. You know, the environment is very important to me, and environmental is very important. But, you know, you can't use it to destroy a country. And they stopped it. They stopped it for years based on the environment. I got it approved. It was totally done. This is since Ronald Reagan, who worked so hard to get Anwar, he wanted to be able to drill in Alaska. think of it as the size of Saudi Arabia, approximately, bigger than Texas, bigger than everything. We would have had something that nobody else even comes close to. And on the first week in office, his Department of the Interior person, who was just put in Department of Interior, she outlawed it. She said, we're not going to use it, stopped all work. They were ready to start drilling. It took them a while to get ready. They're ready to start drilling. The money would have been incredible. The prices were very high. We're the only country that stops drilling when the prices are at an all-time high. And we stopped drilling, but we'll get that back, and I'll get it back very fast. But Anwar, they cut it. Unbelievable. And I will cut taxes even further than we did before, and that includes no tax on tips, right? No tax on tips. All the government does is harass everybody over it anyway. It's like a big harassment operation. They hired 88,000 IRS people to go harass everybody. So if you work in a restaurant, if you drive a cab, or if you do anything having to do with tips, I hope you're going to remember, bartenders, let's see, hospitality workers, a caddy, a barber. Barbers get tips. I don't give mine a big tip because I don't think they do a very good job. If you're a mover, a driver, or anyone else who relies on tips, the money is going to be 100% yours. You better go vote. If that doesn't get you out, if that doesn't get you off your ass to go out and vote for Trump, nothing will. Got to do it, right? Got to do it. And as we rescue our economy, I will also restore the sacred and sovereign borders of a place called the United States of America, right? United States of America. With Democrats in charge, the greatest invasion in history is taking place right now. This is an invasion of our country. You remember during the time I was trying to get the wall, and I was getting all sorts of assurances, and you couldn't get it from Congress. It was incredible. So I did get a lot of money for the military. So I put an extra $10 billion. I put a little fund, an extra $10 billion. I then called it an invasion of our country, and I took it out of the military, and I got it built. And now we're going to build it larger. We have to close up the areas that weren't built. We have certain areas where we needed to have them open for a little while for getting all of our stuff back. I don't like leaving brand new bulldozers and everything on the other side of the border, right? We want to close it up. But we had certain areas we had to close up. And when they took over, they said, we're not going to close it. I said, these guys actually do. I thought they were kidding. I thought they were not being serious. Who would want an open border? Who would want an open border where people come in from prisons and jails and mental institutions? Either people that don't love our country, stupid people. They're not stupid because anybody that can cheat that well in an election is not stupid. Or maybe a new thing is emerging where they want to get people to vote illegally, and they don't care. They have no shame. And we're watching that. Our chairman is here. The Republican chairman is here, the whole thing. See, the big boss is here in Michigan, so you're going to remember that. But we're working on that, but they do. They're trying to sign people up who just came in, who have no idea where they are, what they're doing. They came in. And in many cases, they're very rough people, but they came in, they're trying to sign them up to vote. This is what they'll do. Because think of it. If they have open borders, if they have men playing in women's sports, if they have a raise in, they're going to raise your taxes by four times. 4 times. Think of it. What you're paying now, you're going to pay 4 times more. With policy like this, nobody can get elected. The only way you can get elected is to cheat. And they are really good at it. That's the only thing they're good at. That's the only thing they focus on. They have no good policies. They don't do anything well. But they're using these people, and they're trying to sign up the people. And we've caught them, and we sue, and we do all the things that you have to do. But they have no shame whatsoever. So that's really one of the big reasons I think they're allowing it, because they're not stupid enough to allow prisoners and people from mental institutions, people from insane asylums, and it drives them crazy. Hannibal Lecter, the late, great Hannibal Lecter, would like to have you for dinner. He wants you for dinner. That's the end of you, by the way. But no, these people are being dumped into our country, and nothing good is going to happen from it. That's why we have to do a big deportation and get them the hell out. Okay, we have no chance. Meanwhile, our crime rate is going up while crime statistics all over the world are plunging. We have become a dumping ground for the world, which is laughing at us. They can't believe how stupid we are, how stupid we are. We're destroying our country. They can't believe what they're getting away with, but they're getting away with it at levels that they never thought possible. In Venezuela, crime is down 72%. You know, Caracas, Venezuela, was a very, very dangerous place. And now, because of the great job they've done in removing their criminals into the United States, next year we're going to have our Michigan rally in Caracas, Venezuela, because it's nice and safe. Okay? Does that sound like a good idea to you? Because we want safety. Now, the press is going to write that. They're going to say, Donald Trump proposed next year's Michigan rally in Caracas, Venezuela. They'll say, isn't that horrible? Isn't that unpatriotic? You understand. This is what I have to go with. I'm only kidding, press. I'm only kidding. Although maybe it's not a bad idea. So El Salvador is an interesting one because I know the president. He's a young guy, and he's been getting this great press that his crime rate's way down. And they're training their criminals. Well, you don't train criminals, okay? You know, maybe every once in a while you get lucky, but you don't. So in El Salvador, murders are down 70%. He's saying, yes, we're teaching. He's different. Most of them just say, well, the United States is stupid, so we're dumping all our criminals there. He does it differently, smart. He goes, we're working with our people that are causing problems and crime. And he's not working with them. He's dumping them in the United States. And their crime rate, their murder rate is down 72%, 73% and going up. And I don't blame them because if I was running one of those countries, and we're not just talking in South America, but if I were running one of those countries, I would have been doing it much more. They're also emptying their jails. The big thing is their jails. Those jails were packed. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh, isn't this wonderful? They're doing such a wonderful job. They're dumping their criminals into the United States of America, and we're not going to take it anymore. Stupid people. You're not going to teach a criminal not to be a criminal. Not going to happen. And you don't have the time, you don't have the energy because you have to do other things. That is why as soon as I take the oath of office, we will begin the largest deportation operation in the history of our country, even larger than that of President Dwight D. Eisenhower many years ago. He was a big deportation person. Under the radical left Democrats, Michigan communities are being overrun with migrant crime. You know that better than anybody, right? Does everybody agree? It's being unbelievable. In Oakland County, criminal squads of illegal alien gang members are hiding in the trees and breaking into Michigan homes after dark, looting them for jewelry, purses. They're taking the women's purses right out of their bedrooms. Electronics, cash, they're stealing, they're robbing the houses. Earlier this year in Kent County. Does anybody live in Kent County here? Sounds good to me, but you're not going to like this. A sadistic illegal alien, of which there are many criminals, was sentenced for executing a 22-year-old Grand Rapids woman while she was in her car with her 1-year-old baby, shooting her at least 5 times with a rifle at point-blank range, while the killer was wanted on an outstanding warrant for attempted strangulation of another woman. When I return to the White House, we will stop the plunder, rape, slaughter, and destruction of our American suburbs, cities, and towns. We will shut down deadly sanctuary cities. We're not going to have them anymore. And we will shift massive portions of federal law enforcement to immigration enforcement. We're going to get the bad ones out. We're going to get them out immediately. It's not going to take long. We're going to rely on law enforcement and we're going to give law enforcement back their dignity, respect, and power so they're allowed to protect you. It's no wonder Joe Biden and his thugs are so desperate to stop us. They know that we are the only ones who can stop them. We're the only ones. You know, we talk about Biden like he's a feeble old guy, and he is. He is. But it's the people that surround him. I mean, he's perfect for them. This is the fascists and communists and some bad people surround him. I know just about all of them. I can tell you about all of them. Did you hear about our big victory in Florida last week? Did you hear? We won the big case. We're going to take down Trump. We're going to take down Trump. No, when you have a great court system, when you have honorable judges, people that really love the country, good things can happen. But we won that case in its entirety. That was the one that's going to take them down. They've been saying that for, 8 years now, right? And here we are leading in every poll. We got to get it close. You got it close. You got it close. We don't want to talk too much. I always say, if we win, because I don't like saying when we win, because they cheat like hell. So if we win, but we got to get it close. We're close. 4 months, but you know what 4 months is in this racket? Like an eternity. 4 months is like an eternity, but we're leading by a lot, not just by a little. We're leading every state, every important swing state by a lot, and we're leading nationally by a lot. But we got to get it close. The radical left Democrats rigged the presidential election in 2020, and we're not going to allow them to rig the presidential election in 2024. We're not going to allow it. Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it a great badge of honor. You know, I've been indicted more than the legendary Alphonse Capone, Scarface. He was a tough man. See that guy right there? Ultra MAGA. You're Ultra MAGA. He's tough as hell. But if Alphonse didn't like you, you would be in the foundation of a building rising someplace in your great state, right? He was not. He was a tough cookie, this guy. I got indicted more than Alphonse Capone. Think of it. My parents are looking down. I had wonderful parents. They never saw this for me. They never saw, let's see, I'm voting for, oh, I don't want to even read that one. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. But I'm being indicted for you. Don't worry about these fake indictments. These aren't indictments. These are Biden indictments. These are a sick, weak, pathetic man who can't run an election. So he indicts his opponent thinking that's going to win. And in many cases it would. You know, third world countries do this a lot. Banana republics do it a lot. We've never done it. And we're going to teach them why they can never do it again. Because it's actually hard to believe. It's actually driven our poll numbers way up. And then we had the debate. Did anybody watch the debate? Poll. Who won the debate? Biden or Trump? Poll, free poll. I just saved $300,000. Isn't it something these pollsters, they come, oh, I have Tony Fabrizio and McLaughlin back there. I got to be careful. But I just saved $300,000 doing that poll. They interview like 97 people have been interviewed. And Trump is leading by a little smidgen. I got 25,000 people here or something. They got so many people outside. I wish we could include them. I'd love to get them in. Would anybody like to leave now and let the other people come? That's not nice. Never forget, our enemies want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. And in the end, they're not after me, they're after you. I just happen to be standing in their way, and I always will, right? I always will, fellas. So we have some exciting news today because we're pleased to be joined by many outstanding Michigan patriots. They are, I know every one of them, including your next U.S. Senator from Michigan, Mike Rogers. And Mike is just as adamant as me. He'll vote to stop the invasion, end inflation, halt the outsourcing of Michigan jobs, and bring back the auto industry. You are going to double or triple your auto industry within the next 3 years under Trump. Mark it down. Mark it down. Because we're not taking their cars. We want them to build the cars here, using you people to build them. Also with us is another good man who is running for Michigan Senate seat, Sandy Pensler. Do you know Sandy? So I have a big announcement to make then. Sandy has just announced that he would like to do something very important tonight. So you have Mike, who's a total pro, Sandy, who's a total pro. I'd like to ask both of them to come on up, and I'd like to have Sandy make a statement first. Thank you. Come on up, fellas.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was so inspired when President Trump kissed the empty uniform of Corey Competore. I flashed back immediately to a couple days after 9/11 at the local firehouse where I hugged the lone remaining survivor and looked out at 12 empty uniforms. Thank you for honoring all of them as well. My campaign was always about making America better. The best way to do that is to enact President Trump's policies. Let's go, Trump! Let's go, Trump! To do that, we need control of the Senate. A divisive, continued primary effort hurts the chances of that, and that's not okay. So tonight, I'm doing the right thing and ceasing my Senate candidacy. No, it's not an aha, it's the right thing. President Trump endorsed Mike Rogers. Tonight, so am I. Mike's gonna make a heck of a senator. So I want you guys to look around the room tonight, because everything goes through Michigan. The presidency, the Senate, the House, and the State House. Look around, make a pledge to each other. We're gonna fight like hell to save America and elect Donald Trump, Mike Rogers, and the rest of the ticket on the Republican Party. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy. I am honored to have you stand with us and all Republicans to win the state of Michigan. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your leadership. You're going to be an important voice going forward in our party in Michigan. And Mr. President, I want to say this as a former law enforcement guy. It wasn't that the bullet took you to the ground. It was the fact that you got back up for America. You bet. I have spent my career working to protect America as an Army officer, as an FBI agent working organized crime in Chicago, as the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. I have never seen a more unsafe America because of the Democrats over the last 4 years. Here's the good news, Mr. President. You will have a partner in the United States Senate that will bring manufacturing back to Michigan. We are the arsenal of democracy. We will be again in this great state. And I'll pledge to you, I will get Department of Justice reoriented to actually going after criminals. We are going to dismantle fentanyl distribution from here to the steppes of China, and we're going to tell China, you sell in the United States, you'll have a price to pay. Mr. President, I'll guarantee you this as well. With your leadership, winning the state of Michigan, winning for the United States, putting America back in Washington, D.C. versus Washington, D.C. and the rest of America, we will make America respected again. We will bring back law and order again. We will make America safe again. Let's flip the Senate. Let's elect Donald J. Trump and Mike Rogers to the Senate, and let's get busy. Thanks, Mr. President.
We're unifying the party, and that was beautiful to watch. Thank you, Sandy and Mike. And Mike, good luck. You're running against somebody that's such a bad senator. You don't even, I was there for 4 years plus. I don't even remember meeting that particular person. This is not a senator for Michigan. Mike Rogers is going to be a great senator. He's got gravitas. He really knows his way, highly respected in Washington. And I think, I mean, it should be an easy race. Nothing's easy, but it should be an easy race. So good luck. Good luck. And thank you very much, Sandy, Mike. We're also joined by members of Congress, and they're great people, friends of mine, warriors. Jack Bergman. Jack? Thank you, Jack. Great job. A real friend of mine, somebody I was very much in favor of right at the beginning, John James. Thank you, John. Who helped me do a lot of different things. He gets things.
All right. Sounds like he's wrapping up now, giving the endorsements out to Congress, Senate. But it occurred to me like half hour ago that literally 7 days ago at this time is when he got shot. Since then, he's been to the RNC. He's already back out giving a speech like nothing ever happened. So insane. Love that guy. Act of God that he isn't dead. So that said, I just posted a video, which is crazy. This guy, Chris Martinson, did a sick breakdown last night showing that the audio ballistics report shows that there is 100% without a doubt 2 separate assassins. So it's undeniable based on this evidence. Go check out that video. I dropped the link in the chat. I'll put in this description of this. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you later. Peace.